What if one mistaken kiss at a masquerade ball could rewrite your entire life? For Clara Bennett it did, but the fairy tale came with claws. The crystal chandeliers of the Waldorf Astoria ballroom flickered just as the clock struck midnight, plunging the masquerade for Children's Health Gala into dramatic darkness. Clara Bennett, a 67-year-old widow and struggling event planner, froze mid-step while adjusting a wilting floral arrangement. Her arthritis flared as she gripped the ladder, but the real pain came from watching New York's elite enjoy the event she'd planned yet couldn't afford to attend. "Careful, darling," came a rich baritone voice as strong hands steadied her waist. Before Clara could protest, the stranger's lips brushed hers a soft, startled kiss as the emergency lights flared to life. She found herself staring into the startled green eyes of Elliot Whitcomb, the 70-year-old billionaire philanthropist whose foundation hosted the event. His silver hair was mussed from removing his raven mask, his tuxedo worth more than Clara's annual rent. "You're not Genevieve," he breathed, still holding her. Clara's sensible shoes and staff badge confirmed her status, but Elliot's gaze lingered on her laughing brown eyes, the only visible feature behind her peacock mask. "No, Mr. Whitcomb," she said, extracting herself with dignity, "just the help." As Clara descended the ladder, Elliot noticed her grimace of pain. "Your hands," he began, spotting her swollen knuckles. "Just arthritis," she said briskly. "It doesn't stop me working 3 jobs. Their conversation was interrupted by Genevieve Pembroke's icy voice. "Elliot, must you fraternize with the staff?" The socialite's diamond collar glittered as she sniffed at Clara's discount perfume. That night, as Clara soaked her aching hands, the TVG showed Elliot announcing a surprise donation to arthritis research. The camera caught him glancing toward the floral arrangements, an unreadable expression on his face. Little did Clara know, her quiet strength had captivated him, and tomorrow, he'd track down the woman behind the peacock mask with a proposition that would change both their lives. The morning after the gala, Clara's tiny Brooklyn apartment smelled of Bengay and ambition. She was reviewing catering invoices when a knock upended her routine. Elliot Whitcomb stood in her doorway, holding the peacock mask she'd accidentally left behind. "Miss Bennett," he said, "may I come in?" His eyes widened at her cramped workspace, binders overflowing with event sketches competing for space with photos of her grandchildren. Elliot placed a business card on her chipped kitchen table. "I want you to plan the Whitcomb Foundation's 50th anniversary gala." Clara's arthritis flared as she gripped her chair. "Why me?" "There are bigger firms, because you're the only planner who noticed the Waldorf's ventilation system would wilt the orchids." Elliot interrupted, "and because," he hesitated, uncharacteristically vulnerable. "My late wife had arthritis. I recognize the pain you hide." Against her better judgment, Clara accepted. Days later, she walked into the Foundation's gleaming offices, her best thrift store blazer feeling inadequate. Whispers followed her as she's new pet project. During the first planning meeting, Elliot shocked everyone by rejecting Genevieve's venue suggestion in favor of Clara's community center idea. "Homeless children helped by our foundation should see the fruits of that help," Clara argued, unaware Elliot was recording her passionate speech. That evening, the video went viral. By morning, Clara's phone rang with new clients. But as she celebrated with her daughter over boxed wine, Genevieve watched the video from her penthouse, her face tightening with each view. She'd worked years to secure Elliot's affection. She wouldn't lose him to a silver-haired nobody with big ideas and working-class grit. Genevieve's revenge struck during the gala's final walkthrough, as Clara directed workers transforming the community center into a wonderland of twinkling lights. A tabloid headline flashed on a worker's phone: "Billionaire's new obsession, gold-digging grandma." The article featured doctored photos of Clara flirting with Elliot and lies about her mismanaging funds. Worse, it quoted anonymous staff alleging she'd botched the menu for food allergy sufferers. Clara's hands trembled as Elliot stormed in, gripping the paper. Before he could speak, a waiter rushed up. "We've got a problem. The nut-free dishes are contaminated." Panic surged as Clara realized Genevieve's charity had donated the appetizers. With 3 hours till guests arrived, Clara made an executive decision. No wealthy planner would risk scrap the entire menu. "Call Mario's Pizzeria. Tell them we need 300 of everything, stat." As workers scrambled, Elliot cornered Clara. "Why didn't you tell me about the article?" "Would you have believed me?" she countered. His silence stung. "Get through tonight, Ms. Bennett," he said coolly, "then we'll discuss your future." The gala went miraculously smooth until Genevieve arrived, dripping diamonds and faux concern. "Elliot, darling, I heard about the creative catering solution." Clara braced for humiliation, but then a surprise ally spoke up, a young philanthropist whose nut-allergy son was saved by Clara's quick thinking. As cameras flashed, Elliot watched Clara charm donors with her genuine passion, not society polish. When Genevieve tried to interrupt, he silenced her with a look that said everything. The battle lines were drawn, but the war for Elliot's heart was just beginning. The morning after the gala's success, Clara arrived at the Whitcomb Foundation with resignation letter in hand. She found Elliot waiting with coffee and an apology. The tabloid retracted their story, he said, showing her a check he'd forced them to donate to arthritis research. And I've had a better idea than you leaving. He proposed Clara lead a new initiative, second act startups, funding entrepreneurs over 60. Who better than someone who's lived it? Clara hesitated until Elliot added, "This isn't charity. Last night proved you see solutions others miss." As Clara built the program, she discovered Elliot's hidden depths, how he still wore his late wife's favorite cufflinks, how he secretly funded lunch programs in schools. One rainy afternoon, reviewing applications in his office, Elliot shared his loneliness. Society expects us to fade away at our age. But you blaze brighter. Their tender moment shattered when Genevieve barged in with proof Clara was embezzling. Clara stood tall, handing over pristine financials. "I may be from Queens, Miss Pembroke, but I know how to balance a checkbook." Elliot's proud smile faltered as Genevieve dropped her final bomb. "Do you really want your foundation associated with someone whose daughter is about to be evicted?" Clara's composure broke. She'd kept her family's struggles private, but to her shock, Elliot simply said, "Then we'll help her." When Clara refused, he countered, "Not a handout in advance on your brilliant ideas." That night, as Clara's daughter cried with relief, Clara realized this wasn't a fairy tale, it was something better. A partnership between equals, scars and all. 6 months later, Clara stood in the same community center, now thriving with second act startups. Media cameras buzzed as Elliot prepared to announce their new partnership, both professional and personal. Genevieve watched bitterly from the back. Her social currency vanished after exposing her schemes. "This isn't a rescue story," Clara told the crowd, her silver hair gleaming under the lights. "It's about proving life's second acts can be its best." When Elliot took her hand, the room erupted in cheers. But their real celebration came later. Dancing alone in the sunlit center, no masks, no pretenses. As they swayed to silent music, Elliot whispered, "You've given me more than I could ever repay." Clara smiled, her arthritic hands gentle on his shoulders. "We built this together." Nearby, framed plans for their next project waited: accessible housing for seniors, designed by Clara herself. That evening, Clara's grandchildren marveled at the gala photos on her phone. "Gram, you look like a queen," one exclaimed. Clara chuckled, thinking of the journey from widow to powerhouse. As Elliot arrived with takeout, she realized the greatest transformation wasn't her career or bank account, it was discovering that after loss and struggle, her heart still had room to bloom. The tabloids tried spinning it as a Cinderella story, but Clara knew the truth. There was no fairy godmother, no magic, just two seasoned souls who'd weathered life's storms and found unexpected calm in each other. And as they slow danced in their shared office late that night, the peacock mask hanging framed on the wall, the future stretched before them not as a fairy tale, but as a hard-won, joyful reality.